It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. Your entire reality is on the brink of a dramatic change, and something deep within you already senses it. There's a gathering momentum in the air. Call it fate, call it destiny, call it your own hidden power. However you name it, you're about to experience a transformation so swift that in just 24 hours, you might barely recognize the landscape of your life. If you can feel that quickening in your pulse, that subtle flutter of excitement just beneath the surface, then please like this video, subscribe, and comment 77 feet below to declare you're open to the surge of growth racing toward you. Chapter 1. The Signal You've Been Waiting For. A day can pass in a blur of ordinary moments, with routines so ingrained that you hardly notice them. Yet sometimes, out of the blue, time seems to slow down. A hunch surfaces, a sudden clarity about a long-standing question, a fresh perspective on a relationship, or the realization that you're finally ready to leap into an opportunity you once shied away from. You might dismiss it as a random spark of inspiration, but when you're a chosen one, there's rarely anything random about these signals. They carry an urgency that urges you to pay attention, urging you to step forward with uncharacteristic boldness. Maybe it happened when you were scrolling through social media and you saw a quote that hit you in a strangely personal way. Or you heard a story from someone close to you, and a single phrase reverberated in your mind as if it were coded for your ears alone. Whatever the form, these signals are like gentle knocks on the door of your consciousness. You can open that door or ignore it at your peril. The uncanny part is how rapidly these signs begin to stack up. Once you acknowledge them, you might encounter a string of coincidences. Chance meetings with people who mention the exact subject you've been obsessing over, random bits of information that all point you toward one new possibility. It's not that life suddenly becomes easy or perfect. Rather, it feels as if a hidden dimension has peeled back, revealing a secret track you never saw before. The direction you're meant to take glows on the horizon, and even if fear flutters in your stomach, your heart tugs you onward. For many chosen ones, that's where the 24-hour countdown begins. The sense that something crucial is about to unfold intensifies. The tension between your old comfort zone and the new direction you're being led to grows taut, like a bowstring pulled back, aiming an arrow of destiny. You may have felt stuck for weeks, months, or years, and suddenly everything is in motion. The phone call you've been expecting arrives, or an email presents a breakthrough. Your intuition flares up like a beacon, letting you know that the shift you've been yearning for is no longer a someday scenario. It's practically at your doorstep. Even if you can't see the full outline of what's coming, there's a part of you that recognizes this is no coincidence. You've been building toward this moment through countless smaller steps and hidden acts of faith. Now the universe is revealing itself as an ally, tipping its hand to show you that the time has arrived to move forward. It's up to you whether you seize the moment or watch it slip away. But that sense of urgent possibility, that electrifying awareness, can only mean one thing. In less than a day's time, your life is about to accelerate beyond anything you ever dared imagine. Chapter 2. Breakthrough beneath the surface. For a while, you might have felt like you were slogging through mud, pushing forward. But, seeing minimal progress, life can be relentless that way, presenting obstacle after obstacle until you start to doubt whether you're on the right path at all. You face closed doors that leave you uncertain about the next step, or responsibilities that weigh heavy on your shoulders, sapping your creative spark. Yet deep inside, a quiet determination kept you trying, even when the results didn't match the effort. It's at the end of such a trying phase that the ground often shifts, like cracks forming beneath the surface of a frozen lake, heralding a sudden thaw. You may have noticed subtle changes, a glimmer of clarity here, a new conversation there. These might seem unremarkable in isolation, but the cumulative effect is powerful. It's as though you've been preparing the soil for a plant you thought would never sprout, and now, without warning, a small green shoot emerges, showing you there was life all along. The catch is that this growth can remain hidden until the conditions are just right. And for chosen ones, those ideal conditions sometimes appear overnight. You could be lying awake, replaying the day's events when you suddenly realize that your perspective on a long-standing problem has flipped, or you wake up from a vivid dream brimming with solutions to issues that haunted you for ages. If you sense that spark, it's a clue that the old roadblocks are about to break apart beneath the surface. You've been rewriting your own narrative. You cut ties with negative self-talk, or you distance yourself from circles that dampened your optimism. You began feeding your mind with uplifting material, choosing better influences, and challenging the old scripts that told you life had to be an uphill battle. Day by day, you accumulated the spiritual and mental resources needed to handle a real breakthrough. Now the universe seems eager to reward you for that slow, steady work. Sometimes the final nudge might come from a chance encounter or an unexpected invitation. A brief conversation might spark an epiphany. Someone might mention an opportunity that's perfectly aligned with your passion. It can happen so fast that your head spins, making you question whether life can really pivot so drastically in a single day. But for a chosen one who's primed for this shift, the improbable becomes the inevitable. This is how you realize that no effort you made was wasted. The hours of self-reflection, the times you refused to settle, the inner battles you fought, they were all forging you into someone ready for this exact moment. Now, as the process accelerates, it feels like destiny is closing the gap between where you are and where you need to be. And the real test will be whether you trust this sudden opening enough to leap through it. If you do, you'll discover that the slow, grueling climb was just a prologue to a far more exhilarating story, one where 24 hours can indeed change everything. Chapter 3. The Mystery of Timing. If you examine the stories of pivotal events in people's lives, you'll notice how often they come in unexpected bursts. A job offer appears the week after giving up hope, or a long-lost friend resurfaces just when you thought you'd never hear from them again. Timing is more than coincidence. It's a synchrony that the mind can't always rationalize. You may find yourself asking, why now? Especially if you've wanted this change for months or years. Yet something about your personal energy, your readiness, and the broader cosmic clock all seem to align at this precise juncture. You might have sensed hints that this was approaching. Intense dreams, recurring number sequences, or even a growing impatience that signaled life was about to shift. Now, as 24 hours loom on the horizon, you can't help but feel a prickly anticipation, like the feeling in the air before a thunderstorm cracks the sky. This alignment can happen in subtle ways. Perhaps you decided to act on an intuitive hunch and found yourself at the right place at the right time, or maybe you had to wait because you hadn't fully learned the lesson that would equip you to handle the blessing coming your way. Life, after all, won't place a new treasure in your hands if you're not ready to protect and nurture it. The universe, in its peculiar wisdom, might have slowed things down until you reach the perfect mental, emotional, and spiritual state. That's why, for a chosen one, the final phase before a breakthrough can be the most challenging. You might feel restless or cranky, stuck between anxiety and excitement. You sense that something big is imminent, but you can't see the full picture. In these hours, you can either lean into your faith or give in to doubt. Each choice has the power to amplify or dampen the energy swirling around you. And given how close you are, every thought and intention feels magnified, like a stone dropped in the still water, sending ripples that stretch farther than expected. Keep in mind that timing isn't just about external events. The shift may begin inside you. You wake up one morning and decide you refuse to be paralyzed by fear any longer, or you choose to love yourself enough to step away from toxic influences. That internal decision can trigger a chain reaction in the external world, prompting phone calls, emails, or coincidental encounters that mirror your newfound resolve. When people see your life transform so quickly, they might label it luck. But as you well know, luck is a fraction of the story. True magic emerges when preparation meets destiny, when your readiness lines up with the moment that reveals itself at just the right second. All your past experiences, both triumphant and painful, have led you to be fully present for what's about to unfold. And in that convergence of time and will, you'll experience the whirlwind that makes a mere day feel like a door swinging open to an entirely new existence. Chapter 4. Embracing the Unknown. Change, especially rapid change, brings a sense of wonder blended with an undercurrent of anxiety. Even when you've yearned for a shift, part of you clings to familiar routines because they offer a kind of comfort. There's a reason many people fantasize about radical transformations but hesitate when the opportunity genuinely arises. For a chosen one, the call to step into a new reality resonates on a soul-deep level, and yet it can still unsettle your nerves. You might find yourself questioning, am I truly ready? Or do I deserve this breakthrough? Deep within you know you do, but the lingering whispers of old self-doubt can momentarily flare up. This is normal. Great leaps often provoke the shadows of our past insecurities to come forth as though testing our resolve. But embracing the unknown is less about conquering every fear and more about acknowledging those fears while pressing forward anyway. In these final hours before your life pivots, you may experience dreams or daydreams that hint at brand new possibilities. A fleeting mental image of you standing in a place you've never been, a sensation of peace enveloping you in the middle of a hectic day. These glimpses can feel like postcards from the future, reminding you that what lies ahead isn't just a vague hope, but an actual scenario shaping up behind the scenes. Curiosity can be your ally now. Instead of trembling at the thought of what might go wrong, feed your curiosity about what might go spectacularly right. Ask yourself how you can prepare, not by mapping every contingency, but by making yourself as open and flexible as possible. Perhaps you'll find yourself cleaning out your living space, shedding possessions that no longer reflect who you are, or you might write down your intentions in a journal, creating a clear internal focus that paves the way for external changes. One sign that you're truly ready is when you can feel excitement bubbling up alongside any residual nerves. It's a sign of life, of your spirit recognizing that it's time to stretch beyond old boundaries. The unknown ceases to be a terrifying void and starts to feel like an open field, waiting for you to plant new seeds. And although you don't have every step planned, you sense that each footfall will land on solid ground if you remain in tune with your intuition. If you find yourself hesitating, recall the moments in the past when you overcame uncertainty and discovered that life's greatest gifts often emerge from leaps of faith. Every lesson you've learned, every tear you've shed, and every triumph you've savored has prepared you for this. The unknown becomes a canvas rather than a chasm. You are the painter, brush in hand, ready to sketch the outlines of your next chapter. And as the final hours count down, you can feel that the painting has already started. Bold strokes of color flashing across the canvas of your reality. Chapter 5. The Doors That Fly Open. Have you ever experienced a sudden alignment so perfect that it defies rational explanation? Like getting an unexpected recommendation that leads to a job perfectly suited to your talents, or stumbling upon a new community of people who resonate with your goals and values? These moments are more than luck or coincidence. They're confirmations that you're stepping into your rightful path. As the 24-hour mark approaches, be prepared for doors to fly open in areas that seemed locked or even bricked over. It's almost eerie how obstacles dissolve when the timing is right. A delayed transaction suddenly goes through, or someone who once ignored your calls reaches out with a completely changed attitude. You might find that the stumbling blocks you once cursed were actually holding you back until the ground was solid enough for your next move. Now that the foundation is set, these doors don't just creak open, they swing wide. This influx of momentum can be dizzying. Where you once had to fight for every inch of progress, breakthroughs pile one on top of the other. It can feel overwhelming, like trying to drink from a fire hose. But remember, you trained for this. All the perseverance, the discipline, the willingness to soldier on through discouragement. Those qualities developed you into someone capable of handling rapid success. Without them, this rush of possibility might intimidate you into paralysis. In the midst of this surge, you need a measure of discernment. Not every open door is meant for you to walk through. Success can attract distractions disguised as opportunities. Listen carefully to the voice of your intuition, which has become sharper through every challenge you've faced. It'll guide you to choose which offers or paths align with your genuine purpose and which are mere diversions. This is your chance to shape your destiny, to glean the best from what's being presented. Instead of scattering your focus everywhere at once, You notice that some of the shifts involve healing old rifts. Past misunderstandings may suddenly find resolution, or you may discover that an adversary from yesterday is now willing to collaborate. When life accelerates, grudges and resentments can lose their hold because you don't have the bandwidth for pettiness. While navigating your ascension, remember that some of these doors might open in surprising forms. An olive branch from someone who once opposed you, or an apology from a person you considered lost to the past. It all contributes to the sense of renewal swirling around you. By the time the dust settles, you look back at these 24 hours in astonishment. This is the essence of being a chosen one, to experience moments when progress and growth happen so fast that they feel almost supernatural, but a part of you will also realize none of this is random. Every tear, every vow you made to keep going, and every spark of hope you protected in the darkest nights has led you right here, to the place where doors swing open, inviting you into a chapter far more vibrant and fulfilling than any you've known before. Chapter 6. Integrating the Surge. Once the transformation hits, a fascinating challenge arises: integrating these swift changes into your everyday life. It's one thing to celebrate a victory or a breakthrough. It's another to allow it to reshape your habits, perspectives, and relationships in a lasting, meaningful way. Rapid success can sometimes be disorienting, leading people to sabotage themselves or revert to old patterns if they're not grounded enough to handle the new responsibilities. Take a moment to breathe. The initial rush is exhilarating, but the real growth occurs when you find your footing in this new terrain. Maybe you wake up the next morning feeling both grateful and a bit uneasy. You realize that your old daily schedule no longer fits your expanded reality. Tasks or routines that were central before might feel strangely obsolete, and you sense the need to create a fresh blueprint that accommodates the opportunities now at your fingertips. Relationships also undergo shifts. Some friends or acquaintances might not recognize you in your new light. They might act puzzled or even jealous, clinging to outdated versions of who they think you are. On the flip side, you may meet new allies who see your potential and encourage you to rise even higher. This social recalibration can be tricky as you balance loyalty to old connections with the necessity of fostering ones that align with where you're going. But as a chosen one, you've learned the importance of surrounding yourself with energy that nurtures your aspirations rather than holding you back. Spiritually, this new pace can also draw you deeper into self-reflection. The magnitude of what's happening forces you to confront the beliefs or attitudes you once considered solid. You might discover limiting mindsets you didn't realize were buried, now exposed by the intense spotlight of rapid change. A wave of success can trigger feelings of unworthiness or imposter syndrome if you haven't fully embraced your right to excel. These emotional tremors are normal, and acknowledging them is the first step toward healing. The key is to remember that it's okay to slow down and process. Just because life is accelerating in certain areas doesn't mean you have to be perpetually frantic. You can carve out quiet moments for meditation, journaling, or walks in nature, letting your mind and heart catch up to the speed of events. Far from being a sign of weakness, these pauses are a testament to your strength. You value yourself enough to ensure that success doesn't scatter you, but rather refines you into an even more potent version of who you're meant to be. With each day that passes in this new reality, you'll integrate more deeply. The initial jolt of transformation will give way to a steadier rhythm, one in which you can fully exercise your gifts and passions. The breakthroughs will solidify into a platform on which you stand with calm confidence. And as you watch your surroundings adjust to the powerful wave that swept you up, you'll realize just how much you've grown. The surging tide that once seemed overwhelming has become your ally, carrying you forward with unstoppable momentum as you step into the fullness of your calling. Chapter 7. The Next Morning Light. And so we arrive at the point when those 24 hours have rolled by. The night fades, and in the early morning light, you glance around and sense the shift that's taken hold. It might come in tangible forms, like a new job, a reconnection with someone crucial to your journey, or a sudden surge in your resources. Or it could be more subtle, an internal clarity that wasn't there before, a sense of peace replacing the restless longing that once lived in your chest. You may feel relief, excitement, or even a tinge of disbelief, How could so much change in so little time? But rather than questioning it, you find yourself trusting the process. You're the chosen one after all, and you've learned the universe works in mysterious but precise ways. This new morning reveals that the shift isn't just a one-time event, it's the beginning of a new chapter filled with its own challenges and wonders. Looking out at the day ahead, your heart beats with a steady assurance. The possibilities that once felt distant are now at arm's reach, and you hold the pen that will write the next lines of your story. Maybe that means doubling down on a fresh opportunity, or perhaps it's about healing a bond that yesterday seemed beyond repair. Whatever direction you choose, it's no longer dictated by fear or scarcity. You've glimpsed how quickly life can align when you dare to meet it with courage and faith. Of course, no transformation erases life's complexities. You'll still have moments of doubt, and there will be new mountains to climb. Yet something fundamental has changed. A switch has been flicked. The momentum you sense isn't fading, it's guiding you forward, urging you to continue acting on your intuition and upholding the lessons you've learned. The crucial difference is that now you know, deep in your being, how potent a single day can be. As the sun rises higher, you might pause in gratitude. A wave of humility blends with quiet pride at how far you've come. 24 hours can feel like a lifetime when destiny decides to show up at your door and you embraced it rather than shying away. The morning light cradles you in gentle warmth, reflecting the promise that this is only the start of greater horizons. You walk on your new day, unfolding before you, each step imbued with the undeniable knowledge that your life has shifted, and there's no limit to what the next day or hour might bring.